Jared Polenfro knows photo.com. I'm here with Gene. Gene, how are you today?
I'm good, Jared. How you doing, man?
Good. So, well, actually, not so good now that you're wearing. I noticed you're wearing a Giants shirt.
I wore that just for you.
Thank you for putting on the Giants shirt. This phone
I
call will
almost threw on the
end
Mets hat
quick.
too, man.
Yeah. So anyway, Gene was one of the rapid fire critiques from back in the day where I looked at his photos while he was actually on the line, which I may try to do more of, but they are more difficult to do. He sent me some new photos from a recent concert, and I focused on this one image that I wanted to talk to Gene about. And do you have any idea why I want to talk to you about this one particular image?
I have a feeling you're going to want to talk to me about my settings because I've got some motion blur going on around the feet and maybe around the hands a little bit. My shutter speed was a little slow, I think, so I didn't freeze the moment quite as well as I wanted to.
Yeah, let's take a look at what you were shooting with. You were taking, let's see, D3100. What lens was it? 55 to 200?
No, unfortunately, that was my 1855 kit. I
Okay.
got a 35-1/8 in the bag, but I didn't have it on at that moment.
No, that's fine. That's not a big deal. I didn't have any problem with the lens selection, camera selection. I have a major issue with what setting do you think I have a major issue with?
I thought it was the shutter speed and the ISO.
Well, it's the
I should have
shutter
probably
speed.
been a higher.
Yeah, exactly. It's the shutter speed, but it's caused by the ISO. So why were you at
Right.
200?
Well, lighting was real bad. We were outside at this point. It was a big heavy metal festival, so and it was outside, and I had a lot of harsh sun coming one way, had a lot of shadows coming another way. So for most of what I was doing there, the way I had it set up just seemed to be working for me until people got moving real quick.
Sure.
And I wasn't expecting this jump when it happened. So
Sure. So my in a process to try to keep this quick as like a quick tip, bump that ISO straight up. There's no reason to be afraid to go up. Your D3100 will crank to 1600 without much of an issue. You wouldn't have to go to 1600 outside, but even if you went to 400, even if you went to 800 outside, you would have
right.
frozen the motion without a problem. Were you setting it manually or were you aperture priority?
No, I only shoot manual.
Okay, so you notice that it was 1/60th of a second, and that's going to be hard to freeze action, right?
Yes.
So the next logical step is, in order to get more shutter speed, in order to get more shutter speed, what are your options?
Bump up the ISO so that I could go, with a quicker shutter speed.
That's one option. What's the other option?
The other option to get a quicker shutter speed, with the lens I had, I suppose,
With any
I
lens.
could go
We'll say it with any
higher
lens.
aperture, but on this lens, it sets automatically. I can't adjust the aperture. That's the one thing I could think of that you could do. Bring the aperture down to let more light in. And I could speed up the
There you go. Yep.
shutter speed.
Those two things. ISO goes up. If you have the ability to open your aperture, then lower your aperture and you'll get more light. In this case, it's not that big of a deal that you're at 5.6 outside. But next time when you notice that your shutter speed is 1/160th of a second, I feel more comfortable shooting all shows at 400th of a second if I can. And being that you're in bright daylight, you could have bumped the shutter speed, the ISO from 200 to 400, even 800. And some people's cameras will go to 500 and 640. They'll do the 1/3 stops. So if you went to 400, your shutter speed would have doubled to 3/20th of a second, and you possibly would have frozen there. But if you went to 800th of a second, 800 ISO, you would have gone from 3/20th to 6/40th of a second, a whole stop, and everything you shot would have been tack.
I got you.
So, and I'm not saying that you want all of your images to be tack sharp all the time, but in this image, the motion is deadly, and unfortunately, the 5.6 is deadly too because of the way that the guy is staring at you in the background and how you can see everything. There's no separation.
Yeah.
So
Sure.
you know
Sure.
that was what I got out of this particular image that I wanted to share with everybody, that you shouldn't be afraid to raise your ISO up higher. I rather have a frozen image than to have a blurry, a frozen image with grain than a blurry image that's clean. Because if it's not tack sharp in my book most of the time, if something isn't tack sharp. Now, this isn't bad. His face is sharp. His body is mostly sharp, but the feet, there's movement, and the hands, there's movement. I just feel this would have been a more solid shot if it was totally frozen.
Oh, I agree with you. I threw that in there for you to look at, just because, I knew you'd nail me on it.
Well, that's okay. So. I mean, it's all a learning experience, and it's going to help a lot of people out there realize that they shouldn't be afraid to bump it up higher to get a faster shutter speed. Because like I said, I rather have some grain or noise but a sharp image rather than it's clean as can be, but there's motion blur where it takes away from the image.
Sure, yeah, I agree with you. It definitely hurts it. It definitely hurts it a lot.
But it's a learning. It's all a learning experience.
Right.
So
yeah, I think the feet become the focus because they're blurry.
Yep.
So
well, that and the fact that everything's in focus becomes the focus too. So I would probably consider using that 35 a little more outside, and trying to work with that at say 2.8. Like I've said before, you don't always have to shoot at 1.8 just because you have a 1.8, but at 2.5 and 3, and 2.8, that's a good range to shoot at. And even then, look, you're letting more light in, and shooting at 400 ISO isn't going to be a problem because, well, even if you left it at 200 ISO, your shutter speed from 5.6 would go to 4. Well, we're just going to cut down how many stops it is. So 4 is a stop, and then to 2.8 is a stop, so 2 stops of light. We go from 1/60th to 3/20th, and then 3/20th to 6/40th of a second. So without even bumping the ISO, we've gotten 6/40th of a second just by letting more light in when using a faster lens.
Gotcha.
This is what my whole book is gonna. This is what the whole book's on, and I'm getting ready to record the whole video for this, and this is really what it is. It's about understanding the cause and effect and the play, how one thing affects the other, and the things that you can do to basically take your images to the next level by shooting in manual, which you're doing a great job of, because there's nothing wrong with this image. It's exposed properly. It's composed the way that it should be composed, but just the little things now. It's taking those little things and tweaking them and getting them to where where you're more comfortable. But you're definitely, again, on the right path for as long as you've been shooting, which I know you're still a relatively new shooter.
Yeah, it's been 5 or 6 months. That's it.
You're fast tracked. It doesn't matter how long you've been shooting. You're on the fast track, and that's what this whole book's going to be all about. It's fast tracking your whole, getting straight out of auto right into manual, learning this stuff straight up front so that you can learn it much quicker than I ever learned it. Because when you're shooting film, it's much harder to see your mistakes and actually know what your settings are, because I was too lazy ever to write down what my settings were when I was shooting.
I would have been the same way.
Yep.
But I'm looking forward to the book, man, because you've been a huge help to me already.
Thank you. It's going to be very good. I mean, I'll just lay out. I have the whole outline. Everything is ready to go. I'm going to incorporate new photographers that I just have discussions with during the book in person, where basically we sit here and we play cause and effect. If this happens, what's going to happen? And just get it through that way. But I'll also be doing many photo shoots during the whole video, so that you can see me actually working and explaining why I'm making the changes I'm making when I'm doing it. But with a 2-camera shoot and better audio, well, not better audio, but great audio and just location, just really hammering this stuff home, as well as you'll get an actual ebook to go with it. So it's videos and ebook, and it's going to be pretty damn good.
That's pretty cool. I can't wait to get my hands on it, man.
I can't wait to get it done finally. But no, I hope this helps you and helps other people. But I want to do more quick tips. I know we've gone a little over my 5 minutes that I wanted to, but definitely keep on shooting.
Cool, man.
Take off go burn that shirt.
No way, man. They're going all the way this year.
Yeah, all the way. All the way. I don't know where, but 6 and 10 isn't very good.
Hey man, they're gonna do it. I can feel it.
All right, you can feel it, and I'm not betting you a D3S, but whatever. All right, Gene.
Yeah, I couldn't pay up if I lost anyway. So
That's okay. So I'm gonna end it there. But nice job. Keep
all
on
right,
shooting,
cool.
and yeah, just
Hey,
look at the ways you can let more light in, and then you could keep your ISO wherever you want it as long as your shutter speed's in the right place.
all right,
Cool.
will do.
All right, Gene. You have a good one. All
Very-
right.
All right, thanks. You too, Jared.
All right, guys. Jared Poland, FroKnowsPhoto.com. See ya.